technology being an essential part of their lives. They communicate and they connect differently than other generations. And as marketers and advertisers, as you may be here, we need to understand that building relationships with this generation of consumers will take a different approach. We have to market with them, not to them. They are entrepreneurial generation. We need help. To help them succeed. They create together, so we have to facilitate togetherness and deliver tailored experiences that enable great memories. Finally, Gen Y wants to actively participate and be included as partners in the brands they love. So these are the things that I'm going to develop with you today in this use case. So, as I said, who of you know about Das Assistant? Raise your hand. That's awesome. Nobody knows about it. So, just to make my point, I'm not going to explain to you everything about our company. You can find it on the web, 3ds.com. Basically, we're the second largest software provider in Europe after SAP. But our name is not known. Mainly because we're 90% B2B. And this is our problem. And that's why we've launched, as you will see, we've launched a big advertisement campaign in the past 2 years. So basically, just keep in mind that we're a software company, mainly in 3D design. So every product that you see in life has been designed with some of our products before getting real. And our motto that we introduced, our slogan, if you like, that we introduced a couple of years ago, begins with the words, if we. And that's if we ask the right questions, we can change the world. This motto for us is a way to express the infinite possibilities of the software, of the virtual worlds, to create virtually anything. It's just a matter of time and complexity. But basically, with the software and virtual worlds, you can basically do anything. So this is our new motto that came up with that big advertisement campaign I will talk in a minute. And this logo and these words, if we, we've been, spreading it all over the place. It's by the way, it's a trademark logo, but we've been declining it in different ways. Big advertisement campaign, the biggest advertisement campaign in our whole history of 30 years. This one is the offline advertisement campaign, but there's also online web banners, on TV, on press, like CNBC, CNN, Time Magazine, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, billboards in many airports, all over the place. Huge campaign. And we ourselves, within the company, we're obsessed about if we. We have if we everywhere, all over the place. In our offices, we even eat if we, and the 3D compass that we have here in cakes and chocolate. This one is taken from our Northern office in Finland. So everywhere, we're just obsessed by if we. Every time someone talks to me and begins a sentence with if we, I'm like, okay, I see the logo in my head, So anyway, so we assume that people are obsessed with it as well. But so big advertisement campaign, like I said, TV, press, airports, billboards, all over the place. So you can tell me, well, that's all that is great, but this is not social media, right? And you would be right. So my job as a social media manager for corporate communication was to try and take those advertising assets and try to make something out of it on social media. So just to give you a glimpse of the examples of the advertisements that we have several of them. So we have 12 different of those because we span over 12 different industries. This one, for instance, is for high tech, about an example of exoskeleton. That's kind of a thing that our software can help making. Or this one, and all of those, they all begin with if we, and then a short sentence, or either a statement or a question. So I asked myself the question, okay, all this is great, but what should I do with it on social media? I could just, the easy way would have been just, to take those assets, and they are very visual, so it could work great on social media because they're visually appealing. But that would be just to take social media as yet another channel and then push it there. Because as an advertising campaigns, well, this is quite, pushy. It's just, top-down communication, and this is our if we, and here you go. So I try to reverse the machine and say, well, we'll change that from a campaign to more a movement. So I turned on the mic to our communities, either people that know us or people that don't know us, and say, well, what is your world-changing dream? So that began the idea of what we call then the If We Challenge, which is a contest aiming at creating a conversation of getting the world-changing dreams from our communities as well as people that wouldn't know us so far. So the objectives of this was to grow new audiences and influencers by opening up the conversation, as I said, was awareness to people not knowing who we are, and because we're getting to them to know us at the first place, we have this chance to get to know us with the angle that we want. So I wanted to focus on sustainability because our software can do great things in sustainability and eco-design in particular. And the If We motto itself is very related to sustainability, and I will show you that the contributions that we got were naturally into those fields. That was very interesting. So it was an opportunity to reach out to people who don't know us through the sustainable development aspect. This If We didn't want people to think that the we is about our company, but the we is about the humanity, everyone. So I wanted to also give that sense that the we is really about the participatory community and not just the company. So I wanted to clarify this at the same time. So what we did is we gathered those If We world-changing dreams that we call If We dreams into a cycle funnel coming from different places. We had our corporate website, so 3ds.com. We run that on Facebook and Twitter using the hashtag IfWe. And we run that on blogs, that means our corporate blogs, as well as third-party blogs. And all of the contributions that were gathered through those, we had a kind of a little widget that would gather all those were all into one single place. I will show you how it works if you're interested. And so we ran that for 2 months in 2012, and the results were pretty interesting because we got more than 150K page views on our website, including 90K unique visitors, a very good average time spent per visit of 5 to 6 minutes, whereas our average is more 2 to 3 minutes, half of it. And we got, at that time, we got a pretty small Facebook page for corporate, which was roughly 10 to 12K fans, and we grew up to 65K in just 2 months with very little ad spending on Facebook. But that's for the audience, and but we also wanted to look at the engagement, because one thing is when you grow your community, it becomes harder and harder to keep high engagement levels, and we found out that during and after the operation, we had actually higher engagement rates, scores. So we grew the community, and in spite of that, we grew the engagement. So it was a pretty good operation. And as I said, sustainability emerged as the main conversation topic. As you can see, these are the keywords that emerge from the contributions of people. So yeah, I forgot to mention that we had 550 contributions collected over those 2 months. And these are the keywords that naturally emerge from it, that emerge from the sentence beginning by if we. And we really didn't specify explicitly everywhere that we wanted to get contributions really only related to sustainability, but it came naturally. So a lot of things, as you can see, related to energy, power, water, human, natural, solar, etc., etc. Last year, it even had some press coverage from a specialized social media press, but also this one is interesting. This one is more a generic marketing press, in which they would say that actually the Food Challenge they would see it as really something integrated in the rest of the advertisement campaign. So it was it was good to see that. And then we saw emerge some very interesting things. So from those millennials we were talking about, because we did that effort of sharing or branding of IFWE into a co-creation effort, not just keeping the IFWE logo to ourselves, but saying to the community, hey, participate in that. So we'll see emerge guys like this one who just take the logo, appropriate themselves the logo, put that on their own Facebook banner and Facebook profile, even replacing the pic of his own face with the logo. And then we saw really great things like this one. This guy lives in Mexico. He's our second prize winner of last year. And this is the so as part of the prizes there was a laptop that was given to those, and this is the laptop that he received as the prize for his project. And this guy here is just the president of Mexico. So it makes us really proud when we see that kind of things, and those guys say, hey, I was featured here, and thanks to you guys I was able to do my project. This is one of the best feedback that we can have. And of course we get a lot of feedback from people getting prizes out here, because last year we gave out DVDs of one of our projects to the first 100 contributors. So this kind of feedback from another one from Mexico, a girl this time. And this is interesting because this was last year when she received her prize. She just sent out a tweet, and back then she was a student. And now I just a couple of days ago I checked her Twitter account, and now she's not a student anymore. She's working for Siemens Marine and Shipbuilding. So and that kind of thing is very important for me to get our high management, executive management to understand why we need to invest long-term on millennials. Because, of course, as I don't know if you were at Monica's session yesterday, but she said that social media, of course, is not something that's going to grow 150% of your revenue next quarter. But if you think 5-10 years down the road, if you address those people, tomorrow she will be the decision maker that will lead the revenue of our business. More winners, and all of the great feedback from people, and we wanted to have more of those and those. So what we decided is to do a thank you video. I'm not sure if this advertisement aired in Germany, but this advertisement aired in France. It's an advertisement from Google about a singer, and you will see at the end. Just 1 minute. So Google used that case to illustrate, well, how the different Google things were used, like Gmail and YouTube and so on, to raise a new star in a new singing singer. And basically, what the video shows is that the success of the singer was mainly due to her community, to her fans, and that she was revealed by fans. So it says, in fact, and you see here, revealed by her fans, and you have those names you saw those names, rolling those. So I really like this idea of highlighting the strength of the community, and that's showing that a community is the sum of individuals. So that's what we did when we got all those 500 plus contributions. We picked really, because we picked 3 of them, a jury picked 3 of them to give out prizes, but there were a lot of others that were really good. So we picked another 10, and we made out a small video out of it to, as a thank you feedback.
With music expressions. If we used sound energy to generate electricity, we could make our Earth greener. If we wanted to know about what we are eating...
So all... Sorry. Accidentally. So all of those are only user-generated content. So I won't speak anymore.
Garbage and turn it into cement blocks. We could make schools for uneducated children. If we designed roads that can inductively charge electric cars, the cars could run forever and would be more practical than gas cars. If we had enough 3D printers, we could make custom prosthetic limbs for all victims of landmines and renew our faith in science. If we designed sweating building walls that mimicked human skin, we could have cooler towns and buildings. If we could build towers that change their height according to wind currents, we could harvest energy from the wind. If we could collect the monsoon clouds and make them rain in dam and drought areas, then we could avoid water problems. If we designed a rolling tree planting robot, we could send them out to replant forests and restore deserted lands. Let's make it happen.
Okay, and the last one you saw was the first prize winner, actually. And then again, those are feedback again from the community after this video. So a pretty, warm feeling feedback. And then I had another piece of inspiration from I was going to a social media event and I saw Dunkin' Donuts speaking. And what Dunkin' Donuts does on their Facebook pages is they highlight the fan of the week. So basically they get many contributions. They have a huge Facebook page of more than 10 million people, and they highlight one of them every week. And I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So that's what we did from that video. We picked up again those ideas, and we were able to, since we had 10 of them, we were able to keep 10 weeks of those banners. And what is really great here is that people like to see their contributions on the Facebook page that they follow, And for others, it's a way to identify themselves to people like them, rather than just the big corporate voice, which is a little bit abstract. And then again, I got another set of inspiration through that artist that you may know, which is called Kenny Chang. And Kenny Chang, I recommend if you can watch her TED speak. TED Talk. She's really great, and she has this idea of reusing. It started in New Orleans, where there's a lot of housing which is not used, and she started to put those walls on some of non-used houses that say "Before I die," and basically what those walls are just lines starting with the words "Before I die, I want to." And then followed by a sentence, and she just leave pieces of chalk, and then people can just grab it and write whatever they want. So I found this very similar to our if we sentences, and then I said, yeah, well, shouldn't we, put that in kind of a virtual wall that would show all those contributions that we collected the 5D. So we came up with what we call the triangle represents a dream, and then you can navigate in the dreams like this. So you can see it actually. It's on the home page right now. So if you go on 3ds.com, you can see that on the home page, and then you get driven on the details of the contest. But then you're driven on this, where you can see those dreams, and then you can select one of them, and then it shows up. So if you actually send a tweet right now beginning with a hashtag #IfWe, in a couple of minutes you should be able to see it there. And not only you can navigate in the dreams like this, but as you can see from time to time, if there are some what we call the similar dreams, so relevant dreams that have related keywords, it also shows up. So if you have a contribution, and then you can see if other guys on the other side of the planet have come up with similar ideas. And so here are my takeaways, and I think we got maybe 10 or 15 minutes for questions. So my takeaways with this is, don't be afraid to let your brain go for creation. A lot of times, especially bigger companies, maybe less relevant for startups, but bigger companies, they are afraid of losing control. They are afraid of letting their brain go. So that is one key thing here. Trust your community, and you will be amazed. When we started with that challenge last year, you're jumping in a swimming pool. You don't know where you're going to be. And every other day, I was asking myself, well, maybe we'll just get only crappy contributions from people, and no one great will emerge. And it was the complete opposite. We had of course, we had some of them were like, were creamy, if we can all hug everyone, we can change the world, and kind of things that we cannot really make some actions or project behind it, but a lot of good things. So trust your community. Repurpose user-generated content. That's what we did either in the Facebook covers or in the video. If people take the time to share with you and create some user-generated content, then repurpose it and show them that you are reusing it. Otherwise, why would they spend their time to share it? So show that you not only appreciate what they've shared, but reuse it. Of course, we need to track all of this. As I said, we tracked what we gain in terms of audiences, engagement, and the sentiment as well, to show your management or people who are looking at numbers that you're headed in the right direction, and to put that as additional arguments to show that long-term investment is needed when it comes to millennials. And as I show also with my different examples, get inspiration from others and others' ideas and build on top of it, like I did with what I saw from Duncan and I saw Kenny Chen or whatever. I even have a further idea just this morning in attending a session for maybe another challenge next year. And I think that's it. So if we have some questions, we can with the mic around. Yes? Maybe we need the mic. Yeah. Is it on? Right. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
I can probably just speak up.
Yeah, but maybe for others.
Okay. So you mentioned that you were doing social media for a large B2B company.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you have particular advice for B2B companies, big or small, about really building up a community, reaching a community, making millennials feel like they're participants instead of a third party and another, transaction between companies.
Well, the thing is that a lot of, in conferences, when we hear about social media, a lot of people differentiate what the social media B2B and the social media B2C. I don't care. It's about P2P. It's about people to people. Right? Because it's exactly the same mechanisms. It's so the differences are more in terms of audience sizes. Of course, there's usually less in B2B than in B2C. But besides this, the mechanisms are just exactly the same, and people in the company, they are using and loving or hating their products, just like you're loving and hating the products that you use in your daily life. So, and then yes, we can hear from time to time that LinkedIn is more appropriate to B2B. That's true, but we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have Twitter. We use everything, and of course blogs, which is the core of your content. And often people are surprised, oh, you're B2B and you use Facebook and YouTube. Why? Well, for those guys, And we just go wherever our community is. We don't need to be all over the place, but wherever we feel that there's people that we can be interacting with, we should go there. So, and I think that applies to bigger or startups in B2B. Other questions? There was another one. Yep.
I actually have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, why did you choose to make it into a competition?
Yes.
With winners and a first and second prize? And the second question is, do you do anything to make these ideas into reality?
Yes, good questions. So for the first one, I think it was more a matter of, it's easier to attract people if there's something to win, to be honest. So I think that's why mainly why that. But for we're doing a second edition of the challenge right now. It started about 1 week ago, and what we intend to do is to keep it up after the contest. So there will be a contest that will be 6 weeks, in which everyone that puts a contribution has a chance to win. But then we'll leave it up and as more a kind of world-changing crowdsourcing ideas platform. So we're doing a bit of both. And to your point of making them reality, yes, for instance, if I take the 3 winners that we had, one of them, the project was really real because it was he was doing a PhD, I think, in Mexico with this project, and the software and the hardware that we provided helped further. The first prize winner, for instance, his project was completely just an idea, and but we met with him. We had him to come in our office and discuss and even do some preliminary design on this project. So his focus right now, he's an entrepreneur, so his focus right now is on something else, but he told that he's keeping that in mind for one day. So for that challenge, we don't commit 100% to go the full way to make something real, but if there are opportunities, we will. And it's really about long term. It's not just when that happened in the next year or something like that. But we like to build kind of series. We have, for instance, for the winners, we have the first post to say, hey, this is a winner, and then another one, hey, he came to our office, and then another one, hey, here is the current status of his project, and then, so it gives us opportunity to have like long-term stories, content. Yes?
And what is the topic? How can one, for example, participate?
Yeah, so you can just go. As I said, it's currently on the homepage of 3ds.com, so it's very easy to find. You just click here, and then you end up here on the details. And basically here you have there's a widget that we used on our website, and third-party blogs. So we also have third-party blogs that can embed this and put that into the website. And then here you see there's been already 100. We just started last week again, and there's already 150 more to the. We had the ones from last year, and then we were started. So you can see some examples there of what people share. So it can be really just like I said, just a dream, just something that you would like to see, or maybe a concrete project that you're working on. It's really about it. But as you can see, and it comes from all over the world. So you can see that here it also says where it's coming from. So this guy just tweeted something beginning with A3 from Twitter, and we also have a Facebook app. But nevertheless, everything is gathered into one single thought. So, like I said, the topics, it's very broad, but the essence is mainly around, changing the world and sustainability. I mean, topics that are very common to our millennials, and the fact that they want to be, game changers and not just be passive and seeing the news, but to have a grasp on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Other questions? Yes.
I was just thinking, since you have your target group being millennials, was it primarily because you wanted to do employer branding, recruitment of talent, or was it marketing, or?
Yeah, it was mainly marketing, because it can serve employer branding, but it was not our primary target.
Okay.
Really. Our primary target is really reaching to, like I said, people that today are not, bringing in new revenue because they are either students or young professionals, but then 5-10 years down the road, there will be professionals and the decision makers. And if we take the time and effort so that they know us today, well, they will for sure know us in 5 or 10 years. And millennials like to grow with the brands that they love, to grow and see the brand evolve and see it. So to answer your point, it was more from the marketing side, and it was to be complementary to the advertisement campaign I talked at the beginning, because this advertisement campaign is really targeted at very high level, C-level executives that read Time and Financial Times and are in airports and that kind of things. So here I was targeting, the rest of us, I would say, in this, but more long-term oriented. Yes. Sorry.
That's a good question. Since when does the company exist?
1981. We are 32 years old. It started as a spin-off in France. We have a company called Dassault Aviation who make planes, which are civil and military aircraft. And it started as a small team, 10, 15 engineers in that company. We created a piece of software that would allow to create planes, and especially to see how the wind would go around the wings and that kind of things. Back then it was wireframe 3D, ugly stuff, but it came out as spin-off from there in 1981, and since then we grew in many other industries. So we started from aerospace, then we moved to automotive, and then today we cover anything from a boat to a shampoo bottle, everything.
This is a seriously high budget campaign.
Sorry?
This is a very high budget campaign. I mean, you cannot do this when you're in
No,
a
it's
startup. I mean,
no.
it's really nicely done.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is great, and I'm thinking if you can implement it to something that has a budget 0 and the manpower 1, it's like.
You know how many we are in our company to do social media? You have half of a team in front of you.
Yeah, I believe.
So but honestly, I don't say this because 0. But honestly, this is very.
The sheer mind power behind the whole thing, but
Yeah.
for example, for me to do the website like this, it's already a problem, or to spread it.
No, I honestly, the website, besides, so okay, we have one graphic person in the web team that did this, but all the rest of the website, I did it with my little fingers, just by myself. I can promise you. And yes, there's one thing for this and the moderation, we're using an agency, but really it's not that huge. I have a pretty, and compared to advertisement budget or marketing budget, I have really a very tiny budget. And we can do great things.
But for example, the offline marketing must have been really expensive.
Yes, but this, I can tell you, this is 1,000 times less budget than the advertisement company.
Yeah. That I believe,
But it's
but
really 1,000, it's not just a
something
word.
for most of us in the stage.
Yeah. And it's reaching a lot of people, you know? Almost as many people as the advertisement company.
Yeah.
Because of the power of social
It
media.
changed the way the company thinks, and this is
Yeah.
really nice, and
Mhm.
that they accept it, but still, it's a lot of pre-work behind them.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, the important thing I think is as I did in the inspiration examples that I gave is, okay, I see something and then I think, okay, how can I translate that into my own business? So maybe, you know, when you give some thought over it, maybe you will find something that is applicable to your field and with your own resources. But, yes.
Just
Sorry, there was another question.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns of copyright issues? I mean, yes, with what you did, not, but
Yeah.
if you would ask somebody to send you a painting or something like that?
Yes, so we're very clear. We have legal rules, of course, for the contest. And what the rules say, it's very clear, is that the people that give out the contributions, they remain proprietary of their ID, so they keep the intellectual property of their ID. But we say that they allow us, they implicitly allow us to use it for marketing and communication purposes. So we can use it in our video, for instance, but they still own their ID, of course. We're not stealing any ID, and if we're doing something with them, we do it with them. It's nothing like we would take an idea and do it by ourselves. You know? And it's not, it would not be our business anyway. We're into software, so our goal is to demonstrate that we can use the software to help someone's idea or project,
Yeah.
and not just doing the project on our own. So we're not too much concerned with that.
My question was mainly about if you repurpose
Yes.
what people have sent you, and then somebody says to you, "Hey, you weren't supposed to do that." I just wanted to know whether you clear that.
Well, that's clear in the legal rules. We would if it didn't happen, but if it would happen, probably I would try to have a conversation with that person and say, hey, it was in the rules. So I wouldn't push too much. I think if it really doesn't want, I wouldn't push too much and go to something else. But usually, you know, people, like I said, people are usually very keen on having their own ideas showcased to the world and to other people that are like them. Yes, sorry, you had another question?
It's a two-part question, I guess. The first thing is, did you have a tipping point of where you started saying that you were afraid that nobody would write
Mm-hmm.
any ideas to your
Yeah.
campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have somewhere that all of a sudden it took off?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you only seed it from your own channels, like your Facebook page and website, and of course your offline advertising? Was this hashtag mentioned in the offline commercials, or?
No, not at all.
No?
It was really there is the advertisement campaign that started in early 2012, and I had to make up this social media operation afterwards, and it's really disconnected, even though it's covering complementary bases and so on. So no, it's not really related. What we see is that our offline campaign has brought to us a lot of LinkedIn followers because it's more targeted to professionals, as we said. But regarding the tipping point, yeah, when I launched it, I had absolutely no idea if it would get 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 contributions. I had absolutely no idea, and it started nicely, and then it raised really towards the end of the contest because we were pushing people, hey, it's closing in 2 weeks, you know. So, and then it started pretty good from both our existing base who knows the contest from last year, so we're telling them, hey, we're relaunching it, so everyone has another chance to participate, and including to our non-existing bases. I think we're just on time. Well, thank you very much. And if you have other questions, I'll stay here half an hour. Who has the mic?
Okay, thank you, Aurélien. Thanks everyone for being here at Social Media Week. For those who are attending Monica Saltiva's masterclass, she's 20 minutes late. 20 minutes late. So please stick around. Stick around. She'll be here soon. All right, and don't forget tonight from 9 to 11 p.m. the Digital Media Women Mixer. Networking event, very nice, organized by Digital Media Women, who is one of our partners. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, that wasn't planned. Thanks.